Well, good morning. Slept well last night. Got down to like 48, 49 degrees according to my watch, so didn't get very cold. I'm fixing me a little coffee this morning and a Pop-Tart, blueberry Pop-Tart, and some 3-in-1 instant coffee. I got about 10 miles to go today. I think the last 3 or 4 is all uphill, so that's going to be fun. Alright, I'm finally getting on the trail. It's 8 o'clock, 8:03. I had intended to be walking before now. Actually, kind of thought I'd be up and going and get on the trail by 7, but I slept a little longer than I had planned. I've been on this forest road right there for a little while now. It is so quiet this morning. I did hear one gunshot off in the distance, so glad I got the orange hat. But man, it is quiet. There's a nice little waterfall up through the woods there. Little stream. I think the trail may cross it right down that way somewhere. So, a little stream crossing there. I've already crossed, but I went ahead and took the shoes and socks off. Probably wouldn't have got, it wouldn't have been so bad to cross it in my shoes, but I really didn't want to hike in wet shoes and socks for the rest of the day, so shed the shoes and socks and crossed that. Wasn't too bad, and came up on this little tent spot or camp spot. Got a little fire ring and nice little log to sit on. Another interesting, I don't know what this is. It looks like a headstone. G. Garrett, maybe Garrett Creek. Maybe that's what that says. Or Garrett, I don't know. Anyway, that's sitting here right at the crossing. If you're headed north, you'll see that, and then cross the stream. Heading south, you cross the stream first and then come into this little clearing and a camp spot. So, got a little dry wood there piled up and small fire ring. Alright, trail goes on out that way, so we shall keep moving. Alright, I'm going to stop here, fill up my water bottles, drink plenty of water, make sure I'm good and hydrated, cross this little stream, and then for the next 5 miles, or 4.8 miles, it's straight uphill. There's a couple of other seasonal water sources on the climb. I think maybe one. It says it's a reliable water source, but I'm going to make sure I drink plenty of water here and I fill both my water bottles. I'm not going to fill the water bladder because I don't want to carry the extra weight up that hill, because even if the other sources are not flowing, I know there's a water source on the other side of the hill where I'm going to camp, so I'm not too worried about that, and I'll be starting out plenty hydrated. But 4.8 miles of climbing. I don't know what the elevation gain is. It's about, I think it's about 1,100 feet of climb, and just under 5 miles. So that's going to be a great way to finish off the day. I don't know why people find it necessary to use trail signs as targets, but apparently some people do. Good morning. I didn't shoot much film last night when I got into camp. There was a big group there, 7 other people. I think it was 4 sons and their dads, 2 dads, and then I think one of them's brother-in-law was there as well. But nice group of folks. They had been there since Thursday evening and just kind of hanging out at the shelter, which is it's a nice shelter to camp at. But this fog rolled in last evening, and it's been spitting rain ever since. You can see all the way around. It's just socked in up here. But I got about a 2-mile walk to the car, and then I'll finish things up. So it's been a good hike. I enjoyed having the company last night with some folks to talk to, so that was nice. But I didn't film much with all the people in camp. It's kind of weird filming, so I didn't do that. But had a good dinner, settled in a little later in the hammock around 9, and slept really well. This heavy fog and mist here has just got everything damp and wet, so even my quilts are kind of damp, and so I'll be hanging those out to dry when I get to the house. All right, made it back to the car and rode up to the store, put on some dry clothes, and got me a little snack for the ride home. Well, I tell you, days like today, in terrain like we have here up at the Cheaha area where all these rocks, then I'm glad I took my trekking poles. I actually contemplated yesterday and the day before a little bit. A few times I was thinking, well, do I really need these trekking poles? But man, that walk out this morning with all the slick rocks and water crossings, man, I'm glad I had them. It was I will make sure I always keep them with me up here, because it was slippery on the way out, and surprisingly the parking lot was a lot more crowded than I was expecting for a foggy, damp day. It's not that cold, but it's foggy and mist and rain. There's a lot of cars in the parking lot here, and then even up at the store it was pretty crowded. So I was a little surprised how crowded, how many people were here. I'm glad to see the park getting used, because there's been a couple times where the state has threatened to close down some of the parks because the funding wasn't there. But I'm happy to see the park get used, because it's a great place to come hike. Of course, the park is just one little section. The state park up here at Cheaha is just one little section of the trail that comes through the state park. Really, most of the trails is in the national forest, and so anyway, all right, I'm headed home and gonna get cleaned up, and glad you guys were able to come along with me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sometimes I wonder if anybody enjoys these, but I do it because I like them, and it's something I can go back and watch later on. So anyway, appreciate you coming along. We'll see you on the next trip.